Right, Grand Rising. Good day, greetings, and welcome to you all. You are tuned in to the one and only Peak Wellness Hour. We have hit our first Saturday in February. So today we are diving into we're having a conversation about one of the most important parts of our bodies, which is the heart. It beats around 100,000 times a day, works 24/7 without a break, we better hope. And yet, many of us just don't give it enough attention until something goes wrong. So, let's talk about what keeps a healthy heart going. And we can ask questions. We're going to talk about what causes risk factors and how you can stay healthy and strengthen your heart today. So, make sure you hit that like button, share, and subscribe. And we'll be right back.
Awesome.
All right, we are back. We are in the virtual building. If you are with us, say hello in the comment section. Again, we are in the first week of February. I feel like this year is just passing on by. And I think one of the things that we forget to do is stay diligent, especially when it's cold outside. With the cold weather, the inclement weather, we forget to stay busy and active. And there are so many ways to do that when it comes to heart health. I know Queen Edith, Lady Reverend Edith, is looking so lovely here today. But she has actually been up and out working out this morning. I laid in the bed with my king last night and I looked over at our treadmill. I was like, yeah. I've got to get up in the morning and do this thing. He was like, I've been saying that. So he's an avid walker. So with the weather being what it is, he has not been out and about to do that. But I actually bought him this treadmill a couple years ago for Christmas when it started getting cold, knowing that, he loves to work out. And it has been everything but an exercise device. I've hung my jacket up there. I prep my clothes for the next day and throw them over there. So I have got to get working out like the Lady Reverend Edith here. So she's going to bring us in and we're going to dive into the conversation about heart health today. Grand Rising, Queen Betty. Queen.
Wow. February is the month we call the month of love, falling in love. And the question is, we can fall in love with others. How about falling in love with ourselves as well? Okay, and well, we're going to get into matters of the heart. Our February series is all about matters of the heart, the proverbial heart and the literal heart, right? So we are talking about falling in love with self through heart care. Queen started very well by saying that the heart beats how many times a day? 100,000?
100,000, yes.
100,000 times a day and never takes a break. Wow. So the question is this. Have you ever even thought about that? That your heart works without taking a break, both the proverbial heart and the real heart, literally.
Mm-hmm.
This February, we're excited to bring you this series, Matters of the Heart. These are very important topics, once again, deliberately thought about, deliberately prayed on, and deliberately chosen. So that whilst you're taking care of our mental health, finding out what our foundations are, working on our foundations, our core beliefs, our core values, on and on and on, we also want to figure out what things affect us internally. So, without wasting time, I'm going to ask you, please invite a friend. Invite a friend. We are going to talk about reconnecting with our bodies, not from fear, shame, or just aesthetics, but honor and attentiveness. The
Mm-hmm.
physical heart becomes a gateway into understanding how stress, pace, emotional load, and neglect show up somatically in our body. So it's
Mm-hmm.
not about diagnosis, it's just about listening and learning. And we have to say this, we are not your medical professionals, neither we give you medical or professional advice.
Yes.
Okay, you have any issues with your heart, literally go to your doctor. If you have any issues with love, figure out who to go to. Okay, yeah, love, this issue of love and falling in love can be up and down so many times, but the truth is
Mm-hmm.
this, we are not giving you medical advice. So if you do need medical advice, you have an issue with the heart, go to your medical professional. Having said
Correct.
that, the heart is not just something we have, it is a place we live from. Okay? Listen to this. The heart is not something we have, it is really the center of our lives, our health. So like Queen said, it works continuously without rest and without applause. We don't
Mm-hmm.
think about it, we don't worry about it, we don't stress about it until something happens. Many
Mm-hmm.
of us only think about our heart when something really goes wrong. But wellness must always begin before what? Crisis, through awareness and through care. So this week or today, that's what we are going to talk about. Reconnecting with our bodies without fear or without judgment, but just as an honor and respect for what works within us. So we are not fixing, we are not judging, we are just learning to notice. Queen.
Mm-hmm. Well, first of all, I want to say I love the hearts in the chat. I love that. Thank you. I love the hearts.
In the chat.
Um, I don't even know where to go with this one. I know we've talked about stress before. We talked about when it comes to heart health, and that is a big factor. I know last month we finished strong, discussing foundations and just redefining self, just self refreshing. And a lot of times it can be so stressful to make changes. Again, I think exercise is so important. Breath work is so important when we're tending to the heart. It's not like we said, we don't pay attention to these things until something's going on, but just being proactive, the things that we eat, our attitudes, our behaviors, our sleep patterns, we talked about exercise, all of these things play a part in our heart health. And there are things that we can there are things to do that are preventative measures, when you're having those chest pains, the shortness of breath, the increased fatigue, the increased weakness. We don't want to get there before our body says that something is terribly wrong. Again, simple fruits and vegetables, cutting out fats, cutting out sugars, high fructose kind of things is a game changer when it comes to our heart health. And just being proactive with those things can save us a lot of energy and visits to the doctor when we're dealing with those kind of things. I'm going to read this. The heart is not just something we have, it is something we live from. The heart is not just something. Okay.
I
Yeah,
think it was a repetition. I don't know.
I got you.
I
No
posted
worries.
this one.
It is. it governs everything. You know, if your heart stops beating, it's over. It's over. So I don't I think it's so important for us to keep that in mind. Um yeah, let's talk about exercise. So let me ask you, Queen, what do you think? How often, I know you've been diligent with working out. Let's please motivate the rest of us. What do you do to stay consistent with working out? I know sometimes we don't feel like doing these things. I think that's the number one thing, but between that and diet. Um, the two biggest things we can do for heart health. What motivates you to say, you know what, it's cold outside, it's gloomy outside, don't feel like doing it, been at work all day, just want to relax? What prompts you to go the extra mile and say, you know what, I got to get this done, this is important to me?
Okay, the real truth is I have not been consistent in these winter days. Okay, but the motivation is looking in the mirror. My motivation is just looking at me in the mirror and thinking, Edith, what is this? What is this? Where are you going? We talk about coming into any room, whether it's in a relationship or work or whatever, getting into any room with your best self.
Mm-hmm.
Your best self also includes the way you even look, the way you carry yourself, not just having the knowledge so you can
Mm-hmm.
present, knowledge well, but just you feeling the best part of yourself. And that's what is beginning to push me to do more. The other thing is that next year I'll turn 60. And I want to look at my best self at 60. I don't know why, but that's my motivation for getting up this morning and hitting the gym and exercising. Okay. So, but the reality is that you have to have something that keeps you going. For me, my 60th birthday, I have never really celebrated my birthday. And that's the one birthday I am hoping and praying that as the Lord lives, if He gives me life, I'd like to celebrate it. Celebrate it. Not a big party, but with a lot of other things going on. And I want to look well. I
Mm-hmm.
want to feel well, and I want to get into my older ages feeling and being better. Okay, so that's the my motivation,
Okay.
literally. Something
Let
to
me
look.
ask you, do you ever think about, like, when you're doing that? And thank you for sharing. When you're doing that, do you ever think about heart health when it comes to, because I know you do walking too. I don't know what your complete regimen is, but I do know you're a walker. So is the heart health ever a thought? Like,
No, the heart is not a thought until I climb stairs. I live
mm-hmm,
upstairs, so I climb the
mm-hmm,
stairs. I'm like, I can't breathe.
mm-hmm,
And so I don't think about it. Like we said, we
mm-hmm,
don't think about it until something begins to go wrong. And you and I
mm-hmm,
both know that wellness begins before a crisis happens. And
mm-hmm,
sometimes when you begin to feel the symptoms, it's already bad.
mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yeah.
but I never really think about my heart health. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
if you do. I never do. I
And
just say
I
that I'm just
don't.
fit.
I don't. My husband does. His thing is the cardio, and that's his goal, is the cardio and making sure he gets, his heart rate up some, whatever it is. But for me, I think it's more of that the stamina. If he's doing 4 laps, then I guess I gotta do 4 laps. I'm like, okay, 1 lap down, 2 laps down, one more to go, kind of thing. But I
But
don't think I
that's
could.
good though. The stamina, if you only think about the stamina, it's great.
Mhm.
Because then again, there's a fitness to the heart. Let me say this. I don't know how many people already know this, but I'm sure most of us do. Okay. The heart has a pump that delivers oxygen,
Mhm.
nutrients, and life to every system in your body. The heart. So if you are not pumping, I've learned that I don't breathe. Okay, I don't take time to breathe well. And breathing is
Mm-hmm.
life-giving,
Mm-hmm.
right? Welcome, man of God. It's good to see you. Breathing is life-giving. You understand? So if
Yeah.
you are not breathing well, if your breathing is shallow, it speaks volumes. I've been doing voice therapy, and I realized that I talk till I am winded, like I'm out of breath because I'm not breathing. I'm not taking the time to breathe in between. This morning, I went with a personal trainer, and he kept saying, Edith, breathe.
Mm-hmm.
Breathe. So in breathing, you don't know, you're not thinking about, you're engaging your heart.
Mm-hmm.
You are engaging the heart to pump air at the right time to the right places. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so let's remember that the heart is the muscular pump is in the heart, is what delivers oxygen, the nutrients in your body, and life to every system.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine that.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine that. And it works 24/7, beats 100,000 times a day, and it takes no break. It responds to stress, it responds to fear, it responds to joy, it responds to rest, it responds to overload. Your heart does not separate
Mm-hmm.
physical from emotional experiences, it's registered both.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. And yet we don't think about it. Your heart
Mm-hmm.
knows when you're overwhelmed
Mm-hmm.
way before your mind admits it. And we don't think about our hearts. And,
Absolutely.
and that is really, really dangerous. We've talked a lot about stress on this platform. Chronic stress keeps the body in survival mode, right?
Mm-hmm.
It causes you to have elevated cortisol and adrenaline, which trains the heart over time.
Yeah.
And listen, we are not judging. We are just causing you to notice. Remember, you have a heart.
Mm-hmm.
It pushes oxygen. So
Absolutely.
that's why sometimes when you have swollen feet and stuff, you're retaining fluid. Air is
Mm-hmm.
not flowing well. That's why you have to elevate your feet up, and you have to learn to take deep breaths
Mm-hmm.
so the heart can do its work.
Absolutely. And you know, the last time you and I were together, you and I were together, and we were at the office for Peak Home Care Associates. You all, I was at the office, and I get to the top of the stairs, and I try to keep it together, Queen. I try to keep it together because I got to the top of the stairs. I was like, ooh, ooh.
Those steps will get you, right?
Yes. I was like, oh my God.
Those
And
steps will
everything was
get
so
you.
tight. It was so tight. I was like, I need to work out. And it didn't feel like, I mean, it didn't feel like heart attack, but my body said, girl, you are out of whack. And it was just that one flight of stairs. My heart, I mean, all the pumping, you know, and I wasn't, you saw me, I wasn't jogging up the stairs, you know, I was clearly taking it one step at a time. But that my heart pumping, trying to catch up with, you know, the extra incline. Because, you know, I walk all the time. You walk all the time when we're working, you know. But it's different when you have the intent to work out and you're not just walking to be walking. It's totally different. But yeah, I had a trying time. I had to tell myself, you need to get it together, girl.
Yeah,
Get
those
it together.
steps will get you. And when you come to my house too, it is. And I just use it as my exercise. I don't hold the railing, and sometimes
Yeah.
I'll carry a case of water up the stairs and stuff, and I'll say, this is an exercise for you. But
Mm-hmm.
that's when you realize that the fitness of the heart
Mm-hmm.
is not where it is supposed to be.
Absolutely.
Okay, it's always at a rest level, but you see, it's a muscle.
Mm-hmm.
It's a muscle that needs to be exercised, just like we exercise our biceps, our triceps. It's a muscle, and it needs to be exercised. It needs to be challenged over time so it can do better. And as we get older, I'm looking at Betty. She says, I have
These
seen
comments
up
are just
close.
doing something to me. Go ahead and read it, Quinn. I'm reading it too. Oh my goodness, I
She
love it.
says, I have seen up close the advantage of exercise, healthy eating, healthy living. My husband's grandmother died at 108 and she was an eater of real natural foods. She fished for many years and walked. Okay, I love the treadmill. In fact, my favorite equipment in the gym is actually the elliptical.
Hmm. Mine
Because I feel
too.
like it works everywhere. I love the elliptical.
Hmm.
Okay. It says she being a nurse need to make change. We all need to make
Hmm.
changes. We are getting so comfortable sitting at home.
Hmm.
Okay,
Hmm.
but it's winter, but we have to figure out these days there's so many exercises on YouTube, right?
Hmm.
There's so many, even the sitting exercises. Yeah, today I was watching some exercise. I said, I need to do these. I
Hmm.
don't care for exercise so much, but I like the way I feel after exercising. So I'd rather focus on the way
Hmm.
I'll feel after and stay focused. So, this is about stewarding. We need to steward the gift of the heart. Because if we
Hmm.
don't take good care of us, like she lived 108 years.
That's what I'm saying. Did you see
108
this? Look
years.
at this one. You got another one. 100 years old. This is her blood. 100 years old. Dying. We're dying at what, 60, 70, if we're lucky anymore. Because we're not taking care of ourselves. We got 101. We got 108. I thought I saw another number in the house. Was there another
My
number she
great
gave?
my great grandmother died in her hundreds, so I think 103. But
See.
everybody else died in their 70s and their 80s after her.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I have one auntie, cousin Elizabeth, who died 101 or 102 too. So she lived that length of life. And though she had weak legs, she walked all the time.
Mm-hmm.
She walked everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, one thing my father did, my father had a car, but he walked. When he gets to work, he'll park his car and walk everywhere because he worked on the university campus. It was huge. He would work from the old side to the new side, walk back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, some of us are not doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And we are growing this way rather than growing stronger and toned. When you see somebody who is healthy, you can tell how nicely toned their body is. They're exercising, they're taking good care of themselves, and it's a shame that some of us are not doing it.
It
Okay,
is.
and let's talk about rest. Okay, sleep. Sleep. We are not sleeping well. Poor or insufficient sleep disrupts heart rhythm, blood pressure, and recovery. Did you hear me? Poor or insufficient sleep disrupts the rhythm of the heart.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, you as a nurse, what are the medical implications? It affects your blood pressure and it does not it doesn't make you recover from situations fast. Rest, we consider rest, sleeping as laziness, like we are losing something out there. What are we missing?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we have our phones right where our bed is, and the beep, the beep, the beep, the beep, the beep, 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 all through the
Mm-hmm.
night.
Mm-hmm.
And these things are waking us up.
I know with the lack of sleep, you're looking at things like, hypertension, which is high blood pressure, obesity, inflammation, heart attack, and stroke. And this is why, and I've learned this here recently. I've not learned, but I've dived in deeper into it. Um, when we sleep, it gives our body time to recuperate, right? So I've been reading on fasting and researching on fasting and just talking about the amount of time you spend fasting. So typically you're supposed to stop eating at a certain hour in the evening. After 8 o'clock, it's too late to be eating. Your body needs time to, and I guess it depends on your sleep cycle. If you work nights, then so different story. But the point is it's important for your body to have time to work without working extra stuff. So when we're eating whatever we're eating, even healthy foods, when we're eating all this food, when it comes to junk food, our body takes time, our insides, our systems have to break all those things down. Okay. So all the food, this organ's put, is excreting. This one is cleansing. This one's detoxifying, all kinds of things. When we stop putting things into our body, when we fast for an extended period of time, after 16 hours of fasting, the body says, okay, we don't need to spend time breaking down all this food and sending these nutrients and doing all this stuff. Now we can stop and take a look at what's broken down inside, and we can repair those things because we're not dealing with having to dish out where food goes, if that makes any sense. So now when you're fasting like that, it says, I think it's 16 hours, autophagy sets in. And that's when the body goes to work and says, hey, we're not worried about, the carbs here and the fats here. But we do notice that the blood cell count is off. We do notice that the heart's not pumping right. We do notice the gut's not right. And it starts to repair itself. So when we're sleeping, that's when the body has time to do that, because we're not shoving things into our mouths. And I'm an eater, y'all, so don't get it messed up. I am an eater. And I've had to learn that. And I found that when I fast like that, and when I, stop at a certain time in the evening and I let my body just do what it does on top of the rest, because the body still needs time to rest to do all this, you just feel more revived. Throughout the day, you feel way more revived. I know a lot of times when we think about fasting, the first thing when you feel it's a 3-day fast, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? I know when I would fast religiously, I'd be shoving everything down like it was my last meal on death row, and not thinking about the benefits of it. So now we get so focused on eating that we don't see the purpose and the benefits in refraining from food to heal our own bodies. So, yeah.
This is interesting. It says the other number was mother-in-law.
I saw that. Where'd it go?
94, and I can't keep up with her in Walmart. She is so active.
I love it.
Betty, you are not lying. I work with seniors, and sometimes I don't know who is older. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I don't. You can keep up with them. I'm convinced that our greatest enemy is giving excuses. The world won't stop getting busy. How true is that? So then it comes to prioritize. You see, I am sitting here, you know what I'm thinking? Because we can't see what goes on inside our body, it looks like we don't care. Right? What if suddenly your body becomes transparent? And then there is somebody who is healthy. You look at your liver, like so much fat around it. You look at your kidneys, look at your belly. Oh my God, your belly is so filled with fat. And you're looking at the person next to you. Well, how would we feel looking at it if our bodies were transparent? We stand in front of a mirror that actually makes our body look transparent. We see inside. Your organs are so black from smoking or fatty from eating the wrong foods or whatever. Will we do something different? Because we don't see it. We are not thinking. But you stand on certain machines, it gives you a picture. My friend Ida says, Edith, your insights on the paper. Your insights on the paper. Everything is on the paper. Your BMI is whack, your heart rate is so high or so low, all of those things. How do you look on paper medically? How do we look on paper? I know I don't look good.
That's a good point. And you never know too. I think a lot of people have this perception that only certain types of people have heart issues. Only, I'll say that only certain types of people have heart issues, and it's not true.
It's not.
I know me being of a thinner frame, certain people my size don't think that they are qualified to have a cardiac event, and that's not true.
And it's
Just
that's only aesthetics, unless you're
Mhm.
really actively doing something. I know a man who will run, he runs every day when there's snow out, who run in his basement and run and run and run and run. Like, seriously. And he still died of a heart attack.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, you don't know.
You do not know.
Oh, sir,
You
maybe
just have
that's
to figure out that you're healthy or you are not. If you feel unhealthy, then do something about it. Your mother says, I love working out in heels, tennis shoes, barefoot. I do better working out in private. Angelina,
I
remember
do
using
too.
cans for exercising?
I do too. Let me tell you why I'm laughing, y'all. So I'm laughing. So my mom and my aunt Betty, they're sisters, okay? And so this one, I'm looking at this chat, y'all. And my mom in these heels and working out, she will work out in some heels, and I just can't.
Piranda, wow! I'd like to see you do that. That we should
Oh,
take
you
a
don't
TikTok
tempt her.
video of that. Wow.
That's why I'm laughing, because I've seen it. So there is no shame there. Funny.
Interesting. If you
Yes.
don't attend the gym or have weights at home, use cans or use water bottles, use
Mhm.
something. Find
Yeah.
anything of the same weight and use. It's very,
Mhm.
very interesting.
Absolutely. And you know what? This is
Well,
funny.
you can't get that image out of your mind.
I
Working
can't.
out in the hills.
I can't because you all have to see my mom. I walk really fast, but my mom be on the road when she be in them heels. So it's nothing for me seeing her. I can
How
see her
does she
doing
do that? Workout in heels, walking the treadmill. How high are the heels? Are those pencil heels, block heels? What?
because she's a hot mama. So
Uh,
no, I'm not fooling with it. I need some comfort. I need some good insoles. Okay. I have to care about my heart and the rest of my body. These calves have to make sense. And then this workout. So I don't know. Y'all have to get together and have that conversation.
Miranda, I'd like to come see you work out in heels, and you probably do better than me in
Oh my
sneakers. Probably.
goodness.
That is funny.
Oh my goodness.
That is funny.
You know
This
something else. Go ahead. No, please go ahead.
no. Finish what you're saying.
I was gonna say something else I wanted to address with this kind of I don't want to call it stereotype, but yeah, for lack of better terms, when it comes to heart health. And is this when we talk about the Black American community, right? And we talk about heart health. It's interesting because I think, and I say the Black American community, knowing that Queen, you're from Ghana, and I'm saying it like that because the mindset of how we eat in Western civilization versus in all other countries, really, and the stigma that heart attacks, diabetes, these things are prominent in the Black American community is only so because of our mindsets and how we choose to eat. Okay. If you're growing up on a culture, and this is no shame to anybody, I respect culture, I respect upbringing and foundation. But if you're brought up on pig feet and chitlins and all these fried foods, I'm not being funny because I understand how these things come about, how we eat the way we eat in our communities. But a lot of things that we are putting in our bodies a lot of things that are causing us harm are because of the things that we continue to put in our bodies. There's no reason for us as a Black community to feel that we're supposed to have heart attacks, we're supposed to have strokes, we're supposed to have diabetes, but we are supposed to eat right. We are supposed to change our diets to make it make sense for healthy living. We are supposed to exercise. So I just want to say that to get that stigma out. And it's Black History Month. And when it comes to heart health,
Yeah,
that's so important to understand that's a stigma that we don't have to wear, and nobody does. Eat right, exercise. It makes a big difference. Pick a favorite fruit, a favorite vegetable, pick a few. I'm a big fan of green beans. Green beans are my favorite vegetable. My husband does not like green beans, but he cooks them better than anybody that I've met.
wow.
I love Brussels sprouts. I love the asparagus. I can leave it there.
It's
Those
funny.
are kind of
I like Brussels sprouts, but I don't think I know how to cook it well. So I need to figure it out how to cook it well. I don't think I know how to cook it well.
I'm not, you know what? To be honest, I've never tried. I'm always going out to get them. I like that soy glaze on there, that kind of sweet thing. I have to have a little sweet. So, yeah, maybe we can get together and do some Brussels sprouts together. And some jollof.
Yeah, I mean, I saw. It's been a while. I don't cook as much as I used to anymore, but I saw a recipe online and I did it. You make it in the oven. And it really came out well, but I don't
Mhm.
even remember it. I did it
Yeah.
once or twice. I don't remember. But talking about food, it is very, very important part of the heart. Okay, food is information. Let me. Food is information to the heart. Food informs your heart. Irregular eating, excess sugar, inflammatory foods all increase the strain.
Mhm.
Okay, increase the strain. It increases strain on the heart. We are not talking about perfection. Like this morning, right? I worked out with a personal trainer. He said, "Edith, I like to go over some nutrition facts with you." The first thing that came out of my mouth. I said, I'm African. You're not going to get me out of my African foods. And then he must start laughing. And I said, but this is what I'm going to do. I understand that I should eat, portion control, especially
Mhm.
where carbs, know what to eat more of, what to eat
Mhm.
less of, and what to not eat at a certain time of the day. That's
Mhm.
what I said to him.
Mhm.
I will learn anything else, but you're not going to take me out of my African food. And he started laughing. And so he said, okay, we're going to talk about the different food categories and what eats more of and what to eat less of, because
Mhm.
I don't know your food. I said, I can appreciate that. But
Mhm.
that is so funny. I'm not willing to give certain things up. I am not. I really am not. So I have to figure out how to eat in moderation.
Yeah.
Things that I don't need. Too
Yeah.
much sugar, and carbohydrates are sugar anyway. So too much sugar and all of those things, minimize it and eat more of the healthier stuff and just keep going.
Mhm. Absolutely. Absolutely. I think, cooking at home is so important too versus eating out. You don't know when it comes to processed food. I guess you don't know anyways anymore with processed foods, but just
We
knowing what
don't
you're
know
putting in your
anymore
body.
with foods, Queen, because
Mhm.
now there are foods that are genetically modified.
Mhm.
I can almost promise myself that the onions I've been buying are all GMO, because original
Mhm.
onions, I mean, when I was growing up, so
Mhm.
it's better for me. It's better I get shallots now. When I was growing up, you cut onions, you're running away from the kitchen
Mhm.
because it's burning your eyes. It's not happening when I cook
Mhm.
onions here.
Mhm.
It's too soft for
Mhm.
it to be onion. So now we don't know anymore,
Mhm.
even from the organic, so-called organic shops. So you need to
Right.
be very, very careful. Going now, I have gotten comfortable with ordering my food and getting them delivered groceries because I hate shopping.
Yeah.
Okay, but I guess it makes sense. It makes sense to go pick out your food.
Yes.
Then you pick out better grades, non-GMO stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's something I cannot get with is having my foods delivered, especially produce. I don't want somebody that don't care about food like I care about food picking out my produce. and I get this crappy. I will not allow it right now, and I'm so glad those services are there for people that need them. I can't do it yet. I don't know. Queen Aunt, how old is grandma? I don't remember, but I know I talked to my grandmother the other day. God bless her. She called. She called and she says, I missed her call. I called her back. And she says, Angie, she says, I just wanted to hear your voice. I just wanted to check on you. And I said, well, Grandma, do you need anything? Do you need? And she says, no. She was cooking. My point is my grandmother still cooks. She will go downstairs and cook a whole meal like it's nothing. And I don't cook like that. And I was like, I kind of felt embarrassed. So I was like, why am I cooking? And my grandma's at home cooking. So it's important to be diligent. I'm reading this. What you put in your body.
It says your brother is dying in here with diabetes, prostate, and kidney problem. Brother, I will reach out to you after the live. I'll send you a message on Messenger. Lord have mercy.
We're wishing prayers. We're sending prayers.
Definitely.
And you know what? With the fasting again, I've learned fasting, you can heal your body from these things, from the diabetes, from the prostate, from the kidney, and it sucks. It might suck to think that you'd have to drink only water for 30 days. But when it comes to healing and healing,
30 days is worth a lifetime of health, right?
It is. It is. It is. We are worth our health. If you're gonna, like I said, all these numbers that McQueen Aunt put up, 94, 100 years old, 108. These are making good decisions about your life and how you treat your body. I don't think any of us want to be debilitated.
Your mother put something there. Queen Rhonda said, tell about the boot that was working out. The boot.
What are you talking about? You talking about when you had on that heel and that boot? Like, I'm not talking to you. my mama's had some recent she had a knee surgery and she's just determined to heal. And yeah, she's just a hoot. And we had to tell her, you can't be walking around like this. Can't be walking around with this boot and this heel. You can't do it. And she was determined to do her workout and heal. And she has healed her body. It's been a hoot to watch. I wish I would have recorded it. We could have had a comedy.
It would be a nice TikTok. I promise you. You should record it and put it on TikTok.
No, I can't take it. It's hilarious though. It's just hilarious. But yeah, it is so important to be mindful of how we treat our bodies. And I'd like to live a long life. Who wants to die at 80? Who wants to? I don't want to die at 80 or 90.
If you're not healthy.
If you're healthy, yeah. I mean, otherwise, I mean, at 40, if you're not doing good, you might not want to, take it any further. I don't know. But my point is, we should all look forward to, you don't know when your time is up. If you got till 108, don't you want to be 108 and great? I do. I don't want to be 108 and debilitated.
70-year-old women who are working out, have good muscles, they're working, and you can't tell they're 70. It's amazing what this body can do. Okay, so some of the things you want to look at is chronic stress. We all get stressed, but when it becomes so chronic, it also puts stress on your heart. It pumps more. When you have too much fat tissue in your body, it makes it very difficult for the pump of the heart to work well, because now it's carrying weight it's not supposed to carry. It's carrying too much. Okay. All right. So we want to make sure that we are learning how to manage our stress levels. For me, I've learned to have peace in the middle of the storm. For me, it's more about focusing on the Lord. For me, as a Christian, I've learned on focusing on the Lord that I've had to deal with so many things, and I've realized that I don't live in fear, I don't live in stress, I don't live frustration anymore. I used to 3, 4 years ago, Queen, when you first met me, I was strung out, stressed, but not anymore because I've learned to be better over the years. Okay, having, if you are young and healthy, be thankful for it and keep it, maintain it. Our maintenance culture is terrible, and maintain that health because you don't know what you have until you begin to lose it. You really don't know what you have until you begin to lose it. So we're encouraging you, stay healthy, exercise, and it's not anything terrible. You don't have to go get expensive gym memberships. Walk, run on the treadmill for 50, a brisk 10 minutes, and keep your heart pumping. Challenge the heart muscle. Challenge the heart muscle. When we don't use those muscles, eventually they'll collapse and they won't be any effective for us. So what we don't use, we lose, right? Right? The heart is sometimes overworked. It seems like it's weak, but we just overworking it with all the excesses that we are putting in. Okay. Caring for this body is not, it's not about, I want to be perfect, but it's part of self-respect.
Yeah.
It's part of respect for self. It's not vanity. It's
Mm-hmm.
part of respect for self.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It is honoring the vessel that carries your calling, your responsibilities, your relationships, your future. Okay. So it's so important. It's so important that we are
Mm-hmm.
cognizant of our heart. We've talked about the mind, we're talking about the heart.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. Rest, getting rest, taking a minute, taking an hour, taking 2 hours, laying down and just taking a nap
Mm-hmm.
is healthy. It's not laziness. Going,
Mm-hmm.
going, 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 going doesn't mean fruitfulness. It's just unnecessary stress. So, what are we going to do to be better? You know it. I've started exercising. I've been working, but I've also been putting the wrong thing in my mouth a lot, right? So, my friend Ida keeps saying, you can't, you can't out, you can't out exercise a bad diet, right?
Okay.
Yeah, I've forgotten how she put it, but in other words, a bad diet, no matter how hard you work out, a bad diet will negate your workout.
Okay. I like.
It's 75% what you put in, including what you feed your mind, the books you read it. Okay, will can determine your stress levels. Crazy things like that. Everything you're feeding into this body. Oh, she says you can't outrun a bad diet because she's a runner. You cannot outrun a bad diet. That's what she says.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So we all need to learn to take care of this heart. Think about your heart. Think about what it does. When you go out and work so many times a day and you don't get rest, you come tired. You sleep. Why can't you give your heart, allow your heart the rest it needs by being mindful of what you're feeding it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm reading through this. I was looking because I was looking at this comment section.
Okay, so
And
your Queen Anne Betty says, I need to figure out how to enjoy my coffee without putting. And Queen Anne Betty, black coffee is really good, and I encourage decaf as well. Black coffee is really good. It works for you. You don't need the creamer. It's you just have to acquire the taste, but it's good. If
Yeah,
you get
it's an acquired taste. It's an acquired
yes,
taste. It is.
yes,
And
I
you know
have
what
learned to do it.
you know what I found is having the right coffee is important. And I started using coffee beans. And so I grind them, like I keep them in the freezer and I grind them as needed, and it's fresher. I think when you have stale tasting coffee, it's an issue. Um, so
Right.
yeah, you can things like agave syrup. You can do honey. Um, I have I do get, so I'm drinking now coffee. I do have to throw a teaspoon of sugar in there. Just,
I do when I do coffee, it's no cream, no sugar. Unless once
mhm,
a while I get all this and go to Starbucks or one of those
mhm,
places. But mostly my coffee. So I got myself a coffee maker, which I've had. I said it that black
mhm.
coffee, no cream, no sugar, and I just drink it. And I've moved from the caffeinated to the decaffeinated.
What's the
Same
point of
thing.
drinking coffee for then? What are you doing?
I like the taste. It has the same effect without all the jitters.
Okay, see, I don't
When
get the
coffee
jitter
is
thing.
too strong, I'm jittery. I don't like that feeling.
Hmm. And see, I drink coffee. My coffee's strong, so it's not like weak coffee. So my husband says, and my mom drinks it the same way. He'd be like, that coffee can put hair on your chest. I drink strong coffee, strong. So yeah, it's not like a mild.
Like
Yeah.
if you
So
really want strong coffee, like the espresso shots, like you want. If you have you ever had Lebanese coffee before?
no.
It's a shot,
Okay.
very little, thick and strong.
Okay.
Those Middle Eastern coffees, they just a little bit. They drink it from a short size cup.
Okay.
Not the regular coffee cup you and I have these coffee mugs and stuff. No,
Yeah.
no, 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 no. It's a short cup. That's how little it is. And
Okay.
it is ridiculously strong. But it's
Okay.
good tasting as well. Okay. And I don't do any more strong coffee, not anymore. I
Hmm.
don't like the way it makes me feel. The jitters is too much for me. And I almost feel like something is wrong. Ah,
Really?
I can't do it.
See, my sleep patterns don't keep me. I'll drink my coffee in the evening. Like I'll have 2 or 3 cups when I come home at like 5 to keep me up until 8 or 9. So and still I'm going to bed. So I don't know. I guess that's why I don't have. Yeah, I have an issue with staying awake, not sleeping. So
Yeah, I
tea and
can't do that
coffee are
kind of
good.
coffee. I get a nice, good decaf coffee, black, no cream, no sugar. It helps
Hmm.
me through the day. I keep going. I love the smell. I love the taste, and I love it. And it gives me almost the same results without all the jitters.
Yeah.
I can't.
Yep.
I guess
Yep.
I
Yes.
get hyper. Yeah, yeah. I can't.
Mm-mm.
I
No.
can't.
She said, I'm good then. No, Queen, now we can come over. I'm gonna buy you a grinder. I'm gonna buy you some coffee beans and a grinder. I'll get you straight. I'll get you straight. It's okay. I did want to address something that my mother said though. She okay, so she's saying she used to have high blood pressure and fibromyalgia, but doesn't have it anymore. She's talking about the mindset of our brains and how brain tissue grows back, as all tissues and whatnot in our body do. And I'm a testament to that. She did have it was tough, the fibromyalgia, and just taking, what do you say, Mom, Queen Mother? I think the biggest part was removing the sugar out of her body, and just changing her diets. Of course, the salt, she's not big on salt anyways. I am a fan of Himalayan salt. Now, here and there, I'll use sea salt, but I am a big fan of Himalayan salt. And that's
Me
another thing.
too.
Yeah, when you're going out to eat, that's what I was saying as far as cooking in, you don't know about what
What's
they're
it?
putting in the foods, but as far as the GMOs, but when it comes to salt, I've had to get in the habit of remembering to take my own salt. If I need salt at the table, I don't want to use your table salt, so just prepping things like that when you're going out to eat. But again, being at home and using those spices that are proper spices for your diet is so important. Understanding how much sugar is in something. I was a huge fan of Marie Callender's. And I remember when I was working a lot of hours, as was my husband, in nursing.
Yes, ma'am. I can eat a gallon of ice cream too with pie or cake.
Yeah.
I can. You see, I won't put sugar in my coffee, but I'll still eat the ice cream. Mercy.
Yeah. See, and I'm not a sweet fan like that. Now, a bag of chips, I'll kill a bag of chips. It's horrible. but look at all that saturated fat and whatnot, So it's wild. We had to be diligent in what we put in our bodies. And a lot of times with stressing, a lot of people stress eat. I eat when I'm bored. Don't let me have leftovers. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to get all this food out the refrigerator and I can't be wasteful. Oh, I'm going to town on some food. And then I really have to fast. So,
yeah. And you see, so I do have a few questions. One of the things I want to say is that care is foundational. Taking care of yourself is foundational. It's part of self and self-respect, self-care. It's foundation to wellness for you to showing up in the room, the best version of yourself. Okay, so the questions I feel like I have written down is, what has my body been trying to tell me lately? That's a question you may ask yourself. Let me post this.
I'm posting it, Queen. Go ahead and keep talking.
Where am I pushing when I should be pausing? Okay.
Can you hear that typing? I'm sorry.
I can hear it, but
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Okay, where am I pushing when I should be pausing? Queen, I'm gonna make life easy for you here.
Are you gonna copy and paste?
Yeah, I just copied and pasted it. What signals have I normalized that may actually be more warning signals? Okay, if my heart could speak, what would it ask for right now? If my heart could speak, what is it going to ask me for right now? Okay, did I miss the latter part? If my heart could.
No, I was giving everybody time to read it.
Okay. All right. So these are questions you don't have to answer for us, but answer for yourself. Your body continues to speak to you. What is it saying? Are you listening? When you should be stopping? In what areas are you pushing? That's not helpful. What signals have I normalized that may actually be warnings? And if my heart could speak, what would it ask for right now?
Yes. Yep.
It's interesting how this body was created. It was created to take care of itself, to regenerate itself. But we have not given it the opportunity to do it in many cases. We haven't. But in 2026, with all our goals and our plans, whether it's professional, whether it's business, whether it's career, education, ministry, whatever it is, all of them, no matter how hard you work at them, all of them will come to nothing if your health fails, if your heart fails. February is a month of love. Everybody's thinking about love. Next week, Friday, every church, every ministry is holding a couples, singles program once a year. But it's the heart. If your own heart is not right, even your relationship, and I'm talking about the proverbial heart, okay, the heart for love, what's coming out of the heart, even when that is not right, your relationships are not right, when you are not physically heart healthy, life doesn't go right, because you can't even walk. You walk 5 steps and you're sick. You can't walk. So our hearts, we need to take care of our hearts. We need to be mindful of the heart. Knowing that it's working 24/7, are we enabling it to do its best? Or are we making it overwork? And what does that look for in our lives? What does that look like if we are causing our hearts to overwork? How will that impact our lives as a whole?
Well, there it is. There it is. Yeah, like with everything, it is a matter of taking things one day at a time, not beating yourself up because you missed the mark. Like I said, I asked uh, earlier about what keeps her consistent, what motivates her, and she was honest, but she works out more than I do, So her motivation, even if it's few far in between for her, is motivation for me. So I know Queen has talked about getting together and doing walking together, and we can make all kinds of excuses, but she has been diligent with that. So if it's something where you need a partner, an accountability partner, get that. Whether it is to work out, whether it is to eat healthier, look at different recipes and try different things, try new things, try new spices. I know the international stores I hear are fun. So find some different spices, find some, you'll be surprised that the spices that are in your cabinet that are healthy spices that are not contaminated, I don't know, how they actually bring healing to your body. Have you ever noticed that when you're on pharmaceutical medications? Now watch this, you all. I know we're out of time. When people are on pharmaceutical medications, they tell you to ask your doctor when you're mixing in herbal medications. Shouldn't it be the other way around? Where you're taking herbs in and healthy items, and you should be asking whether or not you should be taking this blood pressure medication with all kinds of side effects that lead to other side effects and other side effects.
My goodness, the side effects on these medications. When you read them, you don't know whether it's worth taking.
Yeah.
But that's what happens when we wait for crisis.
Mm-hmm.
Then the what is it called? Pharmaceutical medications will come in.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe to normalize things a little bit. But have you noticed they never heal you?
Yeah.
They manage the sickness, but they never heal you.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to take drastic measures. Take our health into our hands.
Mm-hmm.
And we are not saying don't go to your doctor. We are not saying don't go to take your medication. We are not saying any of that. Please do what you know to do. Mm-hmm. I will do what I know to do for me. But above all, be mindful of your body, because this body has a communication system. Mm-hmm. It's talking to you. That persistent headache, that persistent knee pain, that persistent ears ringing. All those things are telling you something.
Mm-hmm.
Do your research, get the help you need, and live your best life. Live your
Absolutely.
best life.
Absolutely. All right, sounds like you closed this out, but you want to do it again? And thank you, Queen Sister. Yes, definitely praying for Queenie's brother and family, praying for all of our families, you know,
Yeah,
all of us. You all are our family. We are all family here. And we're praying for one another and we're lifting up one another. But yes, we're praying for your brother and his
yeah,
healing. So
yes, yes,
yes.
yes. Thank you, Queen Sister Crystal. Well, I want to say this to the ministerial body, the pastors and the leadership in the church. Pastoral leadership, our pastors. I'm a pastor and I just want to speak to your heart. We get so busy for everybody, praying for everybody, visiting the sick, doing everything, and we neglect self.
Mm.
A lot of pastors are having heart attacks and dying. Pastors, I'm sorry to say, are committing suicide. Pastors are filled with all kinds of diseases, including eaters. But there's something about the word of God that it becomes flesh. There's a reason that the Bible talks about it is necessary. God is interested in you having health in your soul. It means applying wisdom to knowledge. Let's take care of ourselves. Because one of the ways we will be stopped from doing what we are called to do is to stay unhealthy. Okay? If you are not healthy, you can't fulfill your purpose. To every man and every woman, and who is a Christian, prayer works. But prayer without works will not work. So don't say I've prayed and it's going to go. There's work we need to do.
Mhm.
We need to take care of the body, period. And for all of us with great goals, great visions, building businesses, building whatever, all comes to naught if we are not healthy. Think about the health of your heart. Be mindful, not just about physical things, your mental health, your heart health. And be mindful the people you're bringing into your life, okay, whether they care about your heart health as well. The people we are falling in love with, bringing us so much stress. All of those things matter. So let's make time 20, 30, 45 minutes a day will go a long way. We can make time for it. In fact, we don't have any other option than to make time to be healthier and to be better. Have an amazing week. We'll see you next Saturday. Thank you for your time.
Peace
Love.
and blessings.